and welcome back to Economics N4, and we're on part 2 of Module 4, and we were doing the choices of the firms, and we're still on the objectives. Just to recap on part 1, when we did the profit maximization and the sales revenue maximization, and we are going on to the third objective, which we call the maximum firm's growth rate. So maximizing the firm's growth rate equates or is equal to development. How are we going to develop? Is when the manager wants to increase the sales, yes, and get a better market share, which is the always objective of the owner. The owner wants to get into the market share, and to get there, the managers now get the task at hand to actually increase that market share by selling more or increasing the volume, sales volume. So Maris' hypothesis of maximization of the firm's growth rate reads as follows. When this happens, managers maximizes their own utility function. Now, what's utility? Utility means this is just the use. Yes, we all get the utility bill, and that's the use of electricity and the municipal services. So utility in this sphere is when for every extra product being sold, you will get an X amount of revenue. So with Maris's hypothesis, it comes to about that the managers wants to maximize the sales value by adding on an extra quantity that needs to be sold at a given price. So maximizing their own utility function as well as that of the owners. So if the manager increase the sales revenue, more money in the pocket of the owner. More money in the pocket of the owner, and the owner is involved with profits. Yes, that's correct, with profits. Sales managers, sales revenue, owners, or the entrepreneurs, the person with the big that's sitting at the top who owns the business, he's just involved with wanting a profit. But hang on, there are more factors that we need to consider when we determine sales volume, growth, or even profit maximization. Owners, the shareholders, aim at maximum profits, and the market share, yes, market share, the number of people that are interested and willing to buy your specific product. Not only the target market, but the market share. This is the market share for a specific product. So they want to, they're going to look at, all my competitors are also selling that product, so they are also increasing that market share. The owner wants the bigger portion. The owners want the bigger bite out of the market share. Managers aim at better salary. The more they sell, if they reach the target, money goes up, they can get a better salary. How many times did the trade unions negotiate? And then the boss must just say, sorry, we didn't meet target, the profits are not up, so we cannot pay you the increased salaries that you want. But the minute the manager has reached the targets and have increased the sales revenue, that's more money into the coffins of the owners, and they can have then a negotiating factor to actually want an increase in salary. The two sets of aims can be achieved by maximum growth. If the sales goes up, profit goes up. If profit goes up, growth happens, development. Development means bigger market share, feasibility is at hand, and the business stays not only the bottom line of profitability, not only sustainability, but always ensuring that there is an ongoing of the specific business. So growth. Growth is what, if demand goes up, your sales will go up, and then also capital goes up. If you make sales, your capital revenue goes up. So we say growth is equal to the growth of demand, the firm's product that it is selling, as well as capital, the rate of capital supplied by the business to get that product out into the market. So we have the function of demand, and K meaning the weighted average of the success rate, feasible rate of that specific product and business that you are dealing with. Capital deals again with the average as well as ratios that you need to deal with. Money has interest rates attached to it. So maybe you have money or capital within the business that you're investing, and it will grow at a certain rate. Another thing is when you are increasing your demand, you are needing to sell at a specific price. Prices differ. What is there? We have the inflation rates that determines or are added onto prices. So yes, we're going to need to work with different ratios as to bargain or to negotiate what the weighted average should be then for that growth and development, because I can sell goods at cheap prices or very cheaply that we can say, oh, my business is booming and blooming, but because it was cheap and I sold many products, it will not mean that I've made a good profit. Sales volume is up, but the profits are not that high. So we need to establish over a period of time how this growth is taking place. Growth, market share growth, increases in development. So now we're going to look at the utility function of managers. And remember, managers needs to then look at what their salary is. What power do they have? Status, security do they have? If you look at the manager and what they are working for, you need to know the task of the manager. The manager wants to increase the pockets or the coffers of the owners, because that will determine if they're going to have an increase in salary. And increase in salary, we know managers don't only walk around with three-piece suits, but there's a certain status attached to it and power attached to it, a line of authority attached to it when you say you're a manager. So all of that taken into consideration, we now need to know that utility of a manager is according to its salary or his salary or her salary. Yes, you're correct. Ladies are also managers. Power, the line of authority that they have against it, the status that is attached to it, and how secure are they. I'm not talking about being at gunpoint, but we're talking about the risk of losing their jobs and how secure are they within the business or in the line of work that they are in. Then we have utility function of shareholders. Shareholders are the owners of the business, and they obviously look at profits like we've established earlier, and they look at widening the market share, getting a bigger market share, getting more people wanting and able to buy your product, apart from what the competitors are luring them away from you. And then you need to know about brand image. We know that competitors have their own brand and they have their own image attached to it. So if you are going into a market share, you need to establish that market relationship with your competitors and your suppliers and the target market that you are entering, so that you have that brand image. I'm just making an example. We have so many cars on the road with different market shares. We've got the Mercedes-Benz and BMW, that's luxury vehicles, and then we go into the more economical trade with Toyota and Mazda, for example, or Nissan. But now they get different lines within their brand. And if you talk about Mercedes-Benz, being in a Londoner, you think, oh, we're buying a Lani car there. Yes, because you can see what is being branded here. So when you look at the brand image portrayed by that specific automobile, you will know that it is in a different class from their competitors. Or if you are how do you establish an image? You establish an image by getting the public's opinion about your product. You go into and I said earlier, I was so proudly to say earlier about women. We women go into the shop and we want to go buy the groceries. Oh yes, men, you also do it. But we go into the grocery store and we buy a specific brand. I only want Cross and Blackwell. No, I'm not going to go canola. I'm not going to go to the Pick and Pay brand, the no-name brand, or etc. Because that specific product has already established an image with its market share. So, and we can go on and on and on about this, but you have the real life experiences. As long as you know that the marginal utility of a manager comes from its status, its salary, and its power and security, whereas the owner or the shareholder needs to think about the profit, needs to think about the brand image, and needs to think about the market share. Maximizing the managerial utility. And here comes Williamson, and he says, this utility function can only be done by combining profits and growth. Remember, profits is dealt with the manager, with the owner. Now the manager's utility, if he thinks of the owner's profits, and that profits determines his salary increase, he's going to go for it. So he's going to go for his sales volume that needs to be increased, sales volume increase, revenue increase, which has a spiral or ripple effect onto, not a spiral, upward effect to the profits. So profits and growth then will determine, or a combination of the two will have the managerial utility function at a peak. Managers apply the discretionary power to maximize their own utility function. Discretionary power, they are at hand. Managerial task is to organize, to plan, to take risks, to control, and to, at the end of the day, motivate their workers. So you have this great, important task of managers in order to establish a relationship with the shareholders. Why? If they increase the sales volume have a ripple effect onto profits. Profits, the more profits, you can now establish, yes, I've reached the first line of triple bottom, and then growth is the foresight of that specific business. So it includes variables like the salary, the prestige, the power, the job security, and professional satisfaction. If you do not make your deadline, the owner will come and say, you will lose your job, please. If they're not happy with their profits, they will come on to you as a manager and say, you need to push sales. Right, utility of the manager is the function of its salary, its managerial relations, elements, that is the status and the power, and then power of discretionary investment is what is he all about? What is his status about? What is that? And I will go to the previous one. It says there the prestige, the job security, and professional satisfaction. Right. Let's go on to the other objectives, but just before we go on to the objectives of the firm, the other additional ad hoc objectives, I want to just talk to you about. On page 55, you will see the market constraints. What hampers the manager and the shareholder to get to the sales revenue and to get to the profits? It is the size of the market. How many people are interested in your product? And now you have your crowd of targeted people, but remember, you're not the only seller. If you're the only seller, then perfectly fine. Then you say you're the monopoly. But if you look at in many of the products that are part of perfect competition and oligopolies, etc., you're going to look at always of maintaining a competitive edge over your competitor. So the size of the market will determine, or will determine the sales volume, will determine the end profit. So the size of the market is the first constraint, or that something, a factor that will hamper you getting to the sales revenue that you need. Then the supply chain. Firms depend on supplies of materials and other inputs. The product that you are making, do you have the efficient supplier or provider of the inputs that you need to make your specific product or to supply that service? Why? Because the supplier determines also when you get that product out into the market. Is it at the same price? Is it at the right place? Is it in the quantity? Are they supplying you with the quantity that you need? And are they supplying you at the right time? Because I can order as a customer a specific product, but if you as a business tell me I must wait on my supplier, then you're going to fumble around, because that having the correct, efficient supplier needs to be your first and foremost place of business, or your point of business. So your supply chain is also a hindrance or a constraint that could have an impact of what you have in the market. The nature of the competition, I already alluded to this. You have your monopoly, which you're the only seller. You have perfect competition. There's a few sellers of a variety of products, and then you have an oligopoly where you have many sellers of the product, of the few products. So yes, you need to establish how many products are in the market and how many people are selling that specific product. Not people, but how many businesses are selling that product. And the last one is another constraint for the market is the availability of finance. It's always a big hampering hindrance, because finance, capital at hand, plays a role whether your business can grow as well. So with that mindset, I would like to conclude here. Before bombarding with you with more factual information, I want you to go and regroup on the notes that I will send you on the specific slideshow, and then please do not hesitate to contact me via my email to inquire about more information. But again, thank you very much for watching, and let's get back to part 3